在我看来，线上教学呢是推动了整个国际教育的改革与发展。
This is really tough.
I want to go to China as soon
I
as
think that's the
possible.
most interesting thing that happened during online
And
class.
the teaching interaction is
This
good,
is the
I
best part
think.
of these online classes.
Beijing Foreign Studies University, international business major.
China University of Petroleum is the offshore oil and gas engineering.
交大人文学院汉研专业商务方向的大三学生。
Masters in International Business with BFSU.
我上的是上海海洋大学海洋技术专业的网课。
China University of Mining and Technology in the International Economic and Trade.
上海交通大学专技汉语班的网课。
Masters in Mechanical Engineering in Shanghai Ocean University.
My major is petroleum engineering. I'm studying China University of Petroleum, Huadong, East China.
China University of Petroleum. I'm studying mechanical engineering. Currently, I'm in my third year.
September 2021.
August last year.
从2020年1年级第2学期开始就上网课了。
About 2 years ago.
去年3月春季学期开始上的。
September last year, that my first semester at CUMT.
2020年2月22号
at the beginning of the spring semester in 2020.
In second semester, which is our first semester having online class actually.
In our second semester 2020.
I usually started from 12 noon to 5 p.m. I'm in Cambodia. There's a 1 hour time difference.
It's 3:30 a.m. in Iraq. Yeah, unfortunately.
新加坡和上海完全没有时差，所以我每天准时8点上课。
There's no times different from Beijing and Malaysia. So usually I am taking classes from 10 a.m. in the morning until right about 5 p.m.
从早上8点15北京时间开始上的。
We begin at 8 or 10 a.m. and the class over at 6 p.m.
早上8点到11点半
in the morning or afternoon and rarely in the evening.
Sometimes in afternoon or night, like Beijing time.
It's kind of a bargain between the teachers and we the students as well. Then we decide when to have the classes.
In my room at home.
Home and in my room.
我通常在我的书房里上课。
On my study table, right beside my bed. But nowadays, sometimes I will take my classes in my office.
我一般会在宿舍里上网课。
Usually, I stay in my own room for online classes.
家里的书房
at my study desk in my room.
I prefer quiet places. My room.
Not really, actually. I try to focus and listen to the teachers and professor, and I usually take some notes as well.
Classes, we can see the teacher, right? And also the teacher can see us, see all the students. So what does it mean? It means that it is a face-to-face online classes. So you shall sit in your seat and listen to your teacher.
我会时不时的查看手机，可是我发现自己完全没有办法集中听老师的讲解。最后，我决定在上课前把手机放在另一个房间里面。
Yes, I do other works during my classes. Well, because of the pandemic, I have to do some side jobs and some work in the meantime. Yeah.
因为老师不在身边，网课不如线下，上课那么严肃。 所以感谢网课，让我实现了我一边上课一边吃东西的梦想。有时候也会偷偷的去玩游戏或者玩手机。
Sometimes I do anything else like eating or enjoy with my snack, occasionally replying message for my friends.
我在上网课时不会做其他事情，很专心。
But avoid doing anything else during the class because I'd want to absorb and learn as much as I can from what the teacher would have been teaching.
No, I try to focus as much as possible. If I think this part I know already, sometime I might lose focus a little bit, like check the messages, which is bad, I admit.
Usually when I study and the internet it just lag, I can't hear the professor. And sometimes the electricity sometimes it was just cut out and the screen was just black out.
For example, unstable network in some countries, the time differences between other countries and China. So I think there are a lot of difficulties with the online classes. I really don't like that. You cannot feel the atmosphere of the school, atmosphere of the class. I was honored the full scholarship from the Chinese government, but we cannot earn anything in Iran, as you know. In this case, we shall work. If we work, we cannot study. If we study, we cannot work, make money and live. It's very bad.
我觉得上网课有弊也有利，现在我已经适应了这种学习方式。
I don't think there's any difficulties. It's just that there's some limitation on the interaction between professor and students and also between classmates. So that's the only thing that I feel like I missed out in school.
一开始我觉得上网课非常难，因为我们已经习惯了线下在教室里面的课堂，而且还觉得很难，有问题很难及时跟老师反馈。节奏也非常快，就感觉跟不上。但后面我开始调整自己，慢慢也能适应网课了。
I still have any difficult, like sometimes it's difficult to communicate with teacher. I'm also having some trouble with Superstar app, Suesitong, because sometimes the app is hard to access. Especially in my country, some Chinese applications are very difficult to access.
但也有一些困难，例如社交，通过网络很难与同学和老师进行正常互动，因为是网课。教学方法最重于理论方面，缺少实践课，理解和想象有点难。
It had limitations such as they were not able to do certain experiments because they required certain physical components which can only be found in a university laboratory, things I would not be able to have at home.
One of the disadvantage of online class, you get distracted very easily. For me, I think the biggest difficulties is communications with teachers. So because sometimes in online class, you feel that you are watching a YouTube video or a Bilibili video.
Well, in the beginning was a bit tough for us because we just spent the first semester doing live classes and now we switched just to online. But then with time alongside, things start to get better.
Such as I can choose the place and environment that I want to study, and also I don't need to travel anywhere else. Like I don't need to spend time on traveling to school or taking other type of transportation. And also I can also manage my time and improve the efficiency of studies since I don't need to go to somewhere else. And at the same time, I find this interesting one. It can also boost my confidence at the same time. When I am giving a presentation, I just open the screen and I saw the slides. So I did not see the faces and I don't have eye contact with the other people. So it can help me to reduce some anxieties.
I really didn't notice any advantage.
比如说，其中一个利处是网上的许多功能，如表情包和视频，都使我们的学习更有趣。聊天区有助于老师立刻为我们解答所有的疑惑。
I do think that online classes provide us with some sort of flexibility in terms of what we are working on, and like let's say online classes we are able to attend wherever we are. Also during this period I am able to go through the difficulties with my family to be able to be here with them. Yeah, I think this is the best part of these online classes.
我觉得很方便，我还觉得上网课没有在教室里面上课的压力那么大。
In my opinion, there is one advantage of online class that we don't need to attend class and can doing other things. But please not attending class is still the best for me.
可以利用学校平台传播的网课进行复习。网课可以帮助外国留学生在由于疫情的关系无法进入中国时，仍能够继续学业。
For instance, we could work more efficiently as a team since we could use a certain function called workspace sharing, whereby a certain group of people can work together on a project at the same time. This would have been less efficient if we had done it in a classroom setting, because everybody would be sitting at their different desks.
Actually, I think there are more advantages than disadvantages. Well, one of the biggest advantages that it provides education for everyone in anywhere. Like, for example, you can find somebody in the middle of the desert that learns maybe another kind of language, for say Chinese. It provides a good education for somebody who's hardworking, especially after this pandemic, that maybe the societies are maybe they are noticed the significant developments in the online studies.
So talking about advantage, I think it's more flexible. It's very much flexible.
The debate in class, including me and my classmates, sometimes we just speak and then it just went wrong and go out of the track of the topic when sometimes we don't know what we're talking about at that time. So it was pretty funny.
我还记得我的第一堂网课，老师教我们 Zoom 的功能，其一是有问题就举手。我们班很多位学生举起了我们自己的手，老师还以为没人敢问问题呢。我们还猜想老师为什么不理我们，最后才发现我们要举起自己虚拟的手。
One time, I was in a class. I have forgotten to mute myself, and I was singing a song, and the whole class could hear me sing. Yeah, and then my friend was like texting me, "Oh, you are not muted. Everybody can hear you."
我记得有一天上课的时候，我忘了把麦关掉，然后我就在那边唱歌，突然有老师问谁在上课的时候唱歌呢？我这个时候突然被吓到了，这个时候同学们也开始笑了。
Things during online class at that time, I fall asleep, and when I wake up, the class is over.
有一次老师要求小组对话场景是在邮局，有个小组的同学想象邮局是商场， 在寄包裹时和邮局工作人员对寄费进行讨价还价，后来老师纠正了这个错误，同学们都笑了。
Recently, there's another guy. He maybe when he was having online class, maybe his girlfriend entered. His girlfriend visited him in the school, so they were saying a lot of stuff. Basically, it's very awkward for us, and the teacher, he doesn't know how to turn the mic off.
I remember a time, this was the most embarrassing moment I had with this online class. I was very hungry and I got for myself some food. So as the class was just on, I just tried eating and I forgot my mic was open. And now eating and making noise in the class. As soon as I saw it, I had to close my mic. I was just hungry, just trying to get myself some food, that's all.
I would like to recommend them to take the online class if they aren't able to go to China yet. We can cope and adapt with the online class, and eventually we will go to China in the near future. And online classes can also bring us all international students from different countries together, while we cannot go there directly for now.
To be honest, I really don't recommend the online classes. No, really no. They are not good. It's really important for me to share this information to the universities. Maybe they can handle the situation and let the students come to China sooner.
我当然会向学弟学妹们推荐交大人文学院的网课，因为你们一定不会后悔的。
Yes, definitely. I mean, the offline classes definitely have certain advantages that online classes can't provide, but I think online classes is still a good way of learning. And actually, I have got my cousin to get into BFSU this semester, freshman 2021. Hopefully soon I can go back to Beijing, back to my campus. Yeah.
我觉得我们学校的网课特别有趣，所以我会给他们推荐的。
I will recommend the online class to freshmen who cannot attending the class for some reason, and for learning online convenience, I suggest that the online class system should be improved.
如果外国留学生因为疫情还不能去中国，我会向新同学建议上交通大学的网课，因为老师们很认真热情，学校组织的非常棒。
I definitely recommend that the students that come next year take advantage of this method of learning, because not only is it more efficient and reliable, but it allows you to learn regardless of where you are and regardless of what time it is.
Actually, I hope we can get some students. I feel that online classes is good as long as you have self-control and you have the will to learn. So this all depends on your will. I think my only advice is work hard, focus on the online class. Every time you have an online class, imagine that your teacher is just in front of you.
I would 100% recommend online classes. If the class is favoring your time difference, then that's all you need. The major problem you should be concerned about is the time. So I fully recommend if you want to take part in, if you want to start studies online. It's okay. Okay, thank you very much, and that's a bit of my experience about these online classes.
I'm a Chinese language professor at Shanghai Jiao Tong University. In the previous semester, I taught about 50 students, international students, across 3 different Chinese language classes. And in the semester before that, which is the fall semester of 2020, I had taught more than 100 students in 5 classes about different levels of Chinese language.
I'm one of the teachers from Shanghai Ocean University. I'm teaching Chinese class to international students. Last semester, there are 18 students in my class.
Hello, I'm Zhang Lei from China University of Petroleum, East China, and the School of Petroleum Engineering. And I'm teaching petrophysics and also called Physical Properties of Petroleum Reservoir. And this is a basic course for the petroleum engineering major students. In my class, there are about 20 students each semester. Like last semester, I have 15 students, including 4 students in classroom face-to-face, and 11 students will take this class online.
我是东北石油大学的一名端汉语教师。我们学校的线上汉语教学，每个班是有10名学生左右。
I come from Hainan Tropical Ocean University. I'm a Chinese teacher about reading and writing. The number of online students about 15.
Well, online teaching is something new to both the instructors and learners. So we have perceived some disadvantages of online teaching. I think on top of the list, I can name, for example, the time difference. I can imagine the difficulty of teaching students who is in a time zone that the class will happen in 3 a.m. This is really tough. And also, in online teaching, we are ensured of some very facilitative, effective factors. And it's kind of felt isolated from the rest of the class, which make it a little uncomfortable, or at least unusual to both the instructor or the learners. But on the other hand, we do have some advantages that's been spotted in the online teaching. For example, the delivery of visual and audio message, especially considering that I'm teaching a Chinese language class, the delivery of video and audio message are in a totally new form. For example, when I ask a question to my students, every student will be able to answer the question at the same time by typing the answer in the chat box. This is something new than the case in a normal face-to-face teaching. Usually we don't have that kind of interaction in the traditional face-to-face classroom. And also, we can simply easily record the class. So if students happen to miss 1 or 2 classes, especially because of the time difference reason, it's very easy for them to review the teaching after at the time that they felt more convenient. So this is also some advantage that we have perceived in the online teaching. So I have also sent some survey to my students. In general, actually, they have a quite positive view of online instruction. So I think we should both be confident about the online teaching as a new form of education. I believe that even after the pandemic, so it's valuable to at least preserve part of the online teaching so as to facilitate the standard of our education.
First of all, online class is different from our traditional class. There are pros and cons to online teaching. At first, sometimes we can figure out whether students understand today's knowledge successfully or not via their eyes. But in online class, we can't directly see students' face, so we lose a good way to figure out whether they understand it or not. Secondly, in language class, I would like to let students say more to practice, but due to the network delay, the speed of our class would be slower down. Thirdly, it would be harder to contact with the students after class. Fourthly, if students have any questions, it's not so intuitive to explain than the offline class. But there are also some good points in online teaching. First, when having class, Students can see clearly and hear clearly about what the teachers say during the class regardless of the seat. Secondly, they can see the class at any time and no matter where they are. If they have questions or want to review the lessons, they can see the playback of the class. Thirdly, online teaching is more convenient to combine technology elements, develop more ways to practice, make activities novel and interesting. Fourthly, online teaching has developed more modes of homework, which is welcomed by students.
I already feel no difference between online or in classroom teaching, but everything has two sides. Let's talk about the advantages first. You can see here, for my class, each class there will be a recording or playback after the class. So for the students, they have a better way to review our book by watching the playback. But for the disadvantages, during the classroom, especially for the online teaching, there is no eye contact between teacher and the students. So sometimes I didn't know whether the students understand or not. So I don't know, should I give more explanation or something? So that's the disadvantages. But fortunately, so students can watch playback to get more idea.
在我看来，线上教学呢是推动了整个国际教育的改革与发展，尤其是对于我们对汉语教学来说，是一次新的尝试。
Last year, I tried online teaching application, mainly through Tencent conference and WeChat group-wise connection to complete the teaching. And the teaching interaction is good, I think.
And I think SJTU has a lot of language MOOCs that can be used to support our online language, Chinese language classes. So MOOC is, I think it's a kind of enhanced form of video recording of classes. Besides of class videos, we also have support from self-graded online exercises, online forums, and once you're registered to the MOOC platform, you can just preview everything about the teaching before the class. Therefore, the class in the live streamed online session can be used more effectively. For example, we can use most of the time in interactive activities. We can use it to practice our language instead of learning the simple and basic knowledge. This is the biggest advantage of using the MOOC. And this kind of blended learning is, I think, in my opinion, is the major feature, a characteristic of the Chinese language class at Shanghai Jiao Tong University. And I think everyone is welcomed to experience our MOOC-supported online teaching of Chinese language.
In order to make the online class better, our teachers did a tremendous job for it. We always prepare our lessons together and discuss together in order to make our class better. And then, in order to let everyone in the class have more chance to practice, we are using small class teaching.
We also have WeChat group. We can communicate 24 hours. They can left messages for me and I can reply them when I am available. About the facility in China University of Petroleum, we have the special classroom for the online teaching, especially for the international students. You can see we have 2 cameras in the back of the classroom and another one above the screen. In this semester, I have 4 students in classroom and some students for online learning. So they like this way and they feel this way they can learn the same knowledge, even more knowledge than only in classroom. So don't worry about the online teaching. You can get the same, even more knowledge beyond the in classroom.
那在我们学校呢，主要采取的是主讲加上复练的教学模式。另外还有像5种语言的新生入学仪式、任务型教学法、有趣的游戏互动等等，都是我们线上教育的亮点。
Due to the time difference and other factors, I will also send some courseware to supplement the content and then answer questions through the email. Therefore, I believe that online teaching can also achieve certain teaching effects.
I would like to say to my students all over the world that I know this is a very difficult time. Some of you may be still under lockdown or even in quarantine. However, I believe the difficulty will finally pass. And after the pandemic, I think we will have a good chance to meet each other face to face in the beautiful campus of Shanghai Jiao Tong University. And if the pandemic lasts longer than we expect, I think our online teaching will still provide you with the education of best quality. You're welcomed to join our Chinese language class, both online and face-to-face. I'm waiting for you at Shanghai Jiao Tong University.
I'd like to say to them that due to the epidemic, you can't come to China to have class. Although we have received some praises of our online teaching, our teachers are still dedicated in finding a better way to make our online teaching more clear and vivid. Hope you can gain something from the lessons. Teachers eagerly hope that every student can get good results.
At last, I want to talk to the young students from all around the world. Every cloud has a silver lining. I hope the epidemic will end soon, and looking forward to meet you guys in the campus.
我还想跟大家分享一个我在上学期进行汉语教学的一个非常感动的瞬间啊，虽然是网课啊，但是在我们在学习数字的表达的时候，学完之后的1个星期左右，我的学生依然还记得他的汉语老师的生日啊，还给我一个很大的 surprise。所以我觉得语言呢，我们常常说语言是有国界，可是呢，我又觉得语言是没有国界的，因为语言的学习可以打开一扇门，可以去认识一个新的世界啊。看似我们每天是在学习语言，但是语言与文化又密不可分，在潜移默化之中呢，就让学生了解到了中国的样子。这里有可爱的老师和同学们，所以欢迎新的同学们加入我们吧，我们一起认识中国，了解中国。
Of course, I hope that international students can come to our school, Hainan Tropical Ocean University, and the epidemic will soon end so that we can meet as soon as possible.
Thank you. That's all I can tell you about my experience with online class.
I believe
I hope
we'll have
we
a
can
chance
meet up
to
in
meet
China
each other
soon.
very soon.
希望大家在这期间
拜拜，
平安健康，新学期
And that's all.
加油！
Thank you.